Greetings, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It is Tuesday, November 4th. This is Strada Live. My name is Michael Cioni. Great to have you with us. It's an exciting day as usual. I've always got new stuff to talk about. And today we're going to talk about an investment opportunity. I hope you saw that in the slide a second ago. This is different, very different, big opportunity. I can't wait to get to that. But before I get to that, the most important thing is this is my email address. Transparency is paramount to our mission here. We want people to be able to communicate directly with us. So I'm not afraid of putting my email address out there. When I run into people in the world, they're like, you're so easy to get a hold of. Yes, that's the point. I don't understand. I'm dealing with this other CEO right now, and he's really frustrating me because he's constantly sending me to his executive assistant. And I really am frustrated that I can't get my conversations with him going because he keeps taking himself off the conversation. So either one of two things: he doesn't want to talk to me, and I suppose that's possible, or two, he doesn't realize that he's not available. And I don't want to be like that because I know what that feels like. So that's my email. If you need anything, let me know. I'm happy to help you. But I've also got friends and partners on this call as well. We've got my brother and co-founder. We've got our lead engineer, Austin. We've got Margot and Shannon, who run all of our marketing. Anything that you see anything that you see about Strada except the application is Shannon and Margot. So that's all that's available. So we want to make sure that you can reach out to us if you need anything in that regard. We're here. We're available. It's a small team, but we pack a punch. You already know that. Okay. So 2 weeks ago, I did a presentation for the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. If you don't know who the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, actually, you know who they are. They're the people that put the stars on the Walk of Fame. And every time you see a new star that is given to an actor or a performer or a musician or a director or producer, then it's the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce that manages that whole thing. They're wonderful people. They're very, very caring about the Hollywood community, and they love the creative industry. And they asked me to present a perspective on the situation in the professional media space here in Los Angeles. And so I provided this new part 2. Now, if you haven't seen it, there is a part 1, which I did in February. I think something like 25,000 people saw that. That was for the Hollywood Professional Association, the HPA. You should watch that if you haven't yet. So Pete, maybe my brother can put some links in the chat. You should really watch these. These are both about a half hour long. The information in here is hundreds of hours of insight packed into 30 minutes. So if you care about the creative community and you're a creative professional and you want to know what's going on and what you should do, these are helpful tools. Not all the answers are here, but some of the answers are. And so these are links. And the one on the right, the part 2, I just did about 10 days ago, and it came out, and you really should watch it, and you should share it, and you should forward it, because if you care about the creative industries, then you need people to understand this. Also, some of you are capitalizing on this data. So you may watch these and realize this information is affirming. It is reinforcing things that you're doing. So you should keep doing them. That's good. But some of you are struggling. I saw a friend on Instagram last night, and she wrote, I haven't worked in 6 months. And she wrote the word scared. She says, I'm scared. And she's like, she literally wrote on Instagram, please hire me. I have a tremendous amount of respect for that, because as people, we are afraid to ask for help. We are taught from a very early age, unfortunately, that if we ask for help, it's a sign of weakness, when in actuality, it's the opposite. When you ask for help, it's a sign of strength. And it's a sign of you're having, the desire to require someone else's help or request someone else's help is actually really precious. And most of the time when someone asks for help, you help them, right? So it can be a sense of confidence, even though it seems counterintuitive. And this woman, though, she's scared, and I feel really bad for her, but I want her to watch this information, because this information is really, really valuable. And it might provide some clarity, some ideas, some options, or maybe even close some doors and close some books, because some of the things people want to happen aren't going to happen. They're just not. And so we have to be honest with being able to do that. One of my good friends, Joseph Barkley, says you need to look at the world with sober eyes. And a lot of times we don't look at data we don't like. And so we don't have sober eyes when we can, we find ourselves digesting that data. So this is something really important to us. I care about this community. And so these are two videos that you should really watch. Part one was done in February of this year. Part two, just a couple of weeks ago. So please check it out. You'll learn a lot. And we love your feedback. We love your comments. All feedback is welcome. And so we really want to capture that insight. Okay. Now I want to talk about something really different. Special investment opportunity. Wow. When I think about this, this is something really different. So I want you to pay attention. Whatever you're doing, if you're watching this right now, I'm about to share something with you that I guarantee you will not come across very often in the world. This is not going to happen very often. This is very special. Now, a little bit of my history. If you don't know who I am a serial entrepreneur. I have started several businesses. I've joined startups. I've been a part of companies. I've helped birth them, grow them, scale them, sell them. And I love working in this world. And throughout that, I've been a part of a few major firsts. The amount of things that I've been the first person or among the first person is too many to count. Dozens and dozens. I've had the first, I've been one of the first people to have lots of tools and technologies over the world, over the years. And a few that I highlight here, I had the first iPad Dailies review product ever. Like, it was really cool. We were the first to start doing raw multi-camera 3-dimensional dailies on a set. It was really powerful stuff, and scaled that out into a technology that was scalable. It wasn't a one-off. We had a whole building dedicated to that technology. I worked with Red, Jim Gennard, Jared Land, and Panavision and the Light Iron partners that we started the business with. And we 10 years ago, we started doing 8K large format. It's amazing. The camera I have right here is actually a Panavision DXL. It's the best camera out there. It's so good. It's so good. You should rent one from Panavision. And then Camera to Cloud, Emery Wells from Frame.io invited me to join his startup, Frame.io, and start building Camera to Cloud. This is just a snapshot of some of the technologies, and I've started companies and helped scale them over the years. And I've also been a part of the other side of this, is being a part of guilds and groups and other parties. I'm a member of the American Society of Cinematographer, an associate member of that. I've won a few Emmys, and a member of the Academy. And my brother and I, along with another partner of ours, have a patent on workflow technologies. So this is just a little snapshot. If you don't know who I am, I've been doing this a while. And I don't have my IMDb on here, but if you look my name up in IMDb, you'll see I've worked on 150, 180 feature films and television shows. So I know the space. I know the technology. I know the tools, but I also know the pain points, and I want to change that. And what's really interesting is we have some really ambitious ideas at Strada. And we have this theory here. We want to know if some of you out there want to be more than just a customer. Now, we are very transparent. What did I start this call today out? I put my email out there. I do that every week, right? My email's out there. I'm on Discord every hour I'm awake. If you don't believe me, put a message on Discord and you'll get a response from me or my partners every day. There's not one message we don't respond to. Check me on that. We are always on Instagram and YouTube, and we respond to everything, every inquiry. And when I get emails from interns and students across the world, I respond to them. Ask them. You might be one. You could say, Michael responds, right? We want to be transparent with what we're doing, and we want to do something really ambitious. Now, there are a lot of products out there that you might have that bother you. Like, the products that you use frustrate you. And I hear when you're like, company X, they don't respond anymore, or they don't care anymore, or they're not focused on the user anymore, or I can't get a hold of them anymore, or they don't listen to the customers anymore. If you feel that way about a lot of the products, I feel that way too. Part of the reason we're building Strada is that we want to connect with the community, but we want to build this product with you. That's why we're so available. Now, that can work a couple of different ways. One, you can give us feedback. You can give us insight. We take it and we build. What we're building right now is totally based on customer feedback. If you go back on this YouTube channel all the way to August of 2023, you'll see episode 1 where I talk about starting a business, not even knowing the name. It was before we even came up with the name Strada, certainly before we knew what Strada would do. We're being transparent so you can participate that way. But we want to know if you want to get your hand on the steering wheel and you want to participate in a different way. What if there was an opportunity for you to invest? So we want to know if you want to be more than just a customer, because we have raised money. I put in the most money to start this business, and then we went to our friends and family and colleagues and some clients, and we raised more money. But we wondered, what if the users want to participate in this? We don't know. So we are testing the waters right now. Are you interested in actually owning a portion of Strada and using your influence as a user to actually make this not just a better product, but a better product for you? A lot of times you almost will never get an offer from a CEO to invest in a company that's not on the stock market, right? This is an opportunity for you to get control of this, and we don't even know if anyone wants that. So this is the idea of seeing if Strada could be truly a crowd-sourced creative platform for creative professionals. Wouldn't that be amazing? But we don't know. So if you want to try that, if you are interested in that, email this email address right here, and we'll send you some information. This is just a way for us to test the waters to see if people here want to actually explore being a crowdsourced solution. And we just want to know if customers want to be more than just customers. If that sounds interesting, send us an email. If not, then just ignore all this. And we would love to have you as a customer, and we'd love to have you as a follower and a viewer of the product as well. So thank you for considering that, because it could be really interesting what happens. I don't know. Okay, moving on. Good news. We've got a major update to the iOS and Android apps, and I want to show you that experience right now. This is pretty cool because we've got mobile, and the mobile experience just had a couple of updates, and not everybody has installed the update. And so we're really excited. I know Apple is out already, and I believe Android will come out today. So we're really hoping. Today is November 4th. So when you go to the Android Google Play Store, you'll be able to get that hopefully today, November 4th. Okay, so let's check this out. What I'm going to do is, let's see here. Am I going to go here? Okay, I want to show what we're able to do. What we added is full screen, swiping, pinch, and download progress. And it's really cool to be able to do that. So let me bring up my phone. Okay, let's make this look nice. Here we go. This is my phone right here. So it's literally my phone, so I can swipe through all these apps. And if I go right there, I can see this. So this application is connected to my Strada account. So anything that I've been invited to in Strada is available on my phone. So if you see at the top, it says My Agents. That's at the top. These are agents I'm logged into. An important thing about Strada is you can log in to all of your devices using the same login, which means one license for you can be installed in multiple computers. We know you have multiple devices. We know you have 1, 2, sometimes 3 or 4 computers. We know you have mobile devices. You might have iPads and phones and things like that. So you can install Strada on all those using the same login. You don't have to cheat. You're not cheating by doing that. Then you see about halfway down the page, it says shared with me. It says 23. I have 23 people in my network that have shared folders or drives from their computers back to me. So I'm separating what I have in my display, which is Colorado Mac Mini, Mr. Cioni, and my Mac Studio, and then all of these shared with me across the world. So the first thing I want to do is show you a couple of things that have happened. First, I'm going to go into Strada, and I'm in Colorado. So you can see this is in Colorado. And if I click right here, this is a movie called Sovereign. This just came out. It's produced by Nick Macheri. It's amazing. It's out on Prime, I think, right now. You should check this movie out. But Nick, who's an investor in Strada, by the way, he is actually a wonderful resource, and he's given us access to some of his dailies. And you can see here, Strada really works great for dailies because I can see, in fact, I can pinch and zoom and see how fast. Look how many, there's a couple hundred clips in here, and I can see these come in. And if I pinch, I can make them larger, which is nice as well. So I could see all those, or I can make them smaller. And if I click on these now, it'll launch the player. Now, remember, where are these files? They're in Colorado. They're actually at my mother's house because she's a participant in helping Strada as well. So I've got the ability to get the player started here. And now if I swipe, you can see how quickly I can swipe between assets. I can swipe forward and backwards. If I close the player and scroll down to another scene right here, now I can swipe. Once the player's loaded, you notice that every asset becomes available, and I can see through all these assets right now. So very, very powerful to see that stuff right there. So that's good. The other thing is if I hit play and start playing the file and I swipe, it will actually swipe and maintain playback. I actually just discovered a bug doing this. Hey, Earl, there's a bug. If I start swiping and then I switch to another asset, when I swipe, it goes back to the beginning of the roll. So if you swipe before you hit play, you don't get the next asset. Hey, I just discovered that live. And that's okay. We'll figure that out. We'll fix that. But that's a really interesting bug that we did not catch before. But you can see here, I can go between these assets, and I can go widescreen. Now that's going to screw up my slide right here. But if I show you this, you can see now I can swipe landscape mode. So I have the quality now horizontally, so I can do that, or I can go back to vertical, which I'll do for now. So you can see that works. So that's really good. So we've got swiping in here, which is really cool. And I can rifle through lots of clips here, which is awesome. Yeah, there's that bug. And then, yeah, so I have the option to see that. So that's good. Then the other thing we have is pinch and zoom. So again, I'm still in Colorado, and I'm going to look at some stills here. And if you're in stills, you have the option to do pinch and zoom. So if I grab an image like this, now I can zoom in and I can move the file around. And if I do that horizontally, I have the same access to zoom into this and drive it around. So those are things we just added. And if I'm zoomed into something and I press the bottom left, it'll bring me back to a full screen. So we've added that. So we added pinch, we added zoom, we added swipe, and we also added download progress. So check this out. If I click the download button, now at the bottom, it will show me the speed in which it's downloading. And so you get the percentage. And once it's done, I could say save image. And now if I go to my photos library, there is the image I just saved. And this is the high quality image. So if you have a TIFF file or a DPX file, which Strada supports, you could actually view that on the phone as sort of a proxy. When you hit download, you'll get the full quality file. So let's do an experiment here. If I look into that same directory and we look at maybe an image like this, we should see a pretty high quality image. It looks pretty good, but it is kind of a proxy. So if I hit download and we download this file, we should be able to see a little bit higher version because we're going to get a higher version. So there it is. And it's a little bit cleaner. I don't know if that's coming through to you, but that's a little bit cleaner than this. I don't know if I show you there side by side. You can kind of see that's a little bit cleaner, a little less noise than that. So yeah, that's a good way to kind of show it there. This is clean noise. This is a little bit of compression, maybe you can tell. And that is what we're doing. So you're able to see a proxy of a DPX or a TIFF file real fast. And when you download it, you actually get the full quality file. So that is really significant in these updates. And again, I have the ability to rifle through so many assets here where I can go to folders anywhere. Here's a good example. Our friends at Facilis, let's see here, right here. This is a Facilis drive in Boston. This is so cool because I can go to these files here. This is a Facilis NAS in Boston, and I can see all these files, and I can launch the player, which takes about 5 seconds to get the player going. Once the player gets going, you're able to rifle through all the assets remotely. So if I hit the play button and swipe, we could see, let me turn this down. I could swipe between all these assets, and now I'm just switching between them, and I can also do that widescreen, of course. So there it is, widescreen, and now we're swiping through these assets. So the beauty of this workflow is that you should never be away from any drive you've been connected to. I mean, it makes no sense now. Like, we have made a system that allows you to have access to every single drive. Like, everybody should want this. Like, everyone should want this. You want to be connected to drives. And now it's literally on your phone, and I'm connecting drives that are thousands of miles apart. So it's really, really exciting that we can do that. So for us, the Strada ecosystem is super important that we support all the platforms: Mac, Windows, iOS, and Android. It's important to us that we support the world because the world's bigger than Apple. And even though I'm a fan of Apple, I've owned a lot of Windows computers in my day, and I actually used Android for a few years. And so I want to make sure that we're representing the entire globe of users, and Strada is very, very specific about making sure that we support technologies that are cross-platform. So there's no excuse. And it also unlocks a totally new technological opportunity, because if you think about it, with Strada, you can connect Mac to Windows in ways that you can't connect Mac and Windows to each other. In other words, there is no way to take a file on a Mac desktop and drop it onto the desktop of a Windows computer, like AirDrop. Strada lets you do that. You can drag and drop files effectively from Mac to Windows, and they can be 1,000 miles away from each other. Like, that's a new way to work. And that's part of the power of what we've done. And now that you have it in the phone, you can access it through the phone as well. So it's very exciting. Pete, I just want to let you know, if you're updating the Notion, I'm not seeing anything, just as an FYI. Okay, so now I'm really excited to bring on a guest. And this guest is really awesome because this guest is 5,000 miles away. So this demonstration is really important because we want to prove out that distance is not a factor. Because when it comes to clouds, people think the cloud is necessary in order for remote teams to collaborate with each other. But that isn't necessarily true. Strada is peer-to-peer, and our peer-to-peer technology gives you the benefit of remote access like a cloud, but there's no cloud costs. And you've heard me say that before, but if you're new here, this is going to feel like cloud. It's going to look like cloud. It's going to act like cloud, but there's no cloud. And to help us with that is Tony Gill from Altered Images. Altered Images is an amazing group of people. They're in the United Kingdom. They're in Great Britain, and they are a systems integrator, but they've been doing this a very long time. They put together the tools, the technology, and they equip the talent in the world with the best tools and workflows, and even the infrastructure and the elements of training and oversight and expertise. They put that all together in order to help people make the better stories. And they've been doing this for so long. They've seen the world of technology change, and they've changed along with it. So let me invite Tony Gill to join us. Tony, you're live with us. Tell us, Tony, a little bit, just a brief understanding about you, how you got to Altered Images, and just remind us where you are in the world so we know how this demo is going to work.
Sure. Yeah. Hi, Michael. Thank you for inviting me on first. Yeah, as you say, we're based in the UK, specifically just outside of London. My past, many years ago, I was an editor, broadcast editor for documentaries, long form. Then I kind of found my way into broadcasting and distribution, and all the while along, I knew Altered Images. They were supporting me and supplying me with my ad-aids and everything, all the other tools we've used over the years. And somewhere along the lines, I've got invited to become the MD. Yeah, I've been a customer, I've been a project consultant, and now I'm running the company. So yeah, we've been around 30 years, and you described us very well. Thank you.
I love it. And 30 years of experience. And also the fact that you started as an editor is really important, because I think a lot of times, a lot of these companies will be suppliers of technology, but they're not users of the technology. And I think what separates you is you understand it from a user perspective. I didn't really realize you were a client of Altered before you became the MD. That's pretty funny. But that actually just shows how deep the DNA of workflow lives in the business. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in my broadcast days, I was operations in an operations director role. So I personally, I always look at issues with helping customers with their problems first, rather than from a sales perspective. The sale will come if we find the right solution to a problem. And NAB earlier this year, back in April, I saw you guys, and I immediately said to you, I think the first words to you, "Can you get to London?"
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a standout product for us. Every year we look for something special, and you guys found something pretty unique, and we're really excited about supporting you guys.
Well, we appreciate that. So let's get into a demonstration here. So I've asked Tony to share his screen. So again, are you in London, Tony? Am I right about that, or nearby?
I am just outside of London. If anyone's flown in or out of Heathrow, I'm about 2 miles from Heathrow Airport.
Ah, very good. 2 miles from Heathrow. All right. So we're really close to London proper. If Tony, if you can share your screen, we're going to start with this. So Tony's about 5,000 miles away from me. And I want to demonstrate here from scratch a couple of things. Tony, first, could you click on your agent for me? The agent is the application that allows, oh, I'm sorry. Is that making you change what you're sharing? I get it. I get it. Well, you don't have to.
I'll just do our best on this time.
There we go. I appreciate that. So Tony's got his agent here on the left. The agent is the application that allows you to decide what drives or folders are going to be shared. So he's selected desktop and documents, which doesn't mean anybody can see those. Those are really just for Tony to see, which means Tony can access his own desktop on his phone and his own documents on his phone. That just by itself is a useful tool, even though it has nothing to do with video sharing. It's just access to your desktop is actually a nice perk. Oh, he's got his movies folder there. Yeah, and you can pick anything like that. But then at the bottom, he's got a drive called the U32 Shadow. And in an external drive, he's decided to share that. So if he goes into Chrome, he can see the U32 Shadow right there. So that is the drive. And so I'm going to ask Tony to invite me first to a drive, and we're going to try two things here. We're going to connect. So we see the drive there. So why don't you invite me as a viewer only to one of these files? If you want to do, were you going to do the big stuff? Is that the first one we were going to do, or ice cream? Okay. So we like ice cream. That's good. So Tony's got some ice cream footage on his drive there, and he'll launch the player. And now I want you to hit the plus button and invite me. And we'll invite, we know, everyone knows my email, michael@strada.tech. And in this case, let's leave me as a downloader. But before you hit anything, click the downloader button. And I just want people to see there are 4 levels of permissions that you can assign to people. An admin has access to invite other people. So if Tony made me an admin, I could invite my brother to this ice cream drive. So this would be a folder that you knew a lot of people were going to need, and it was open for that. An editor would be someone that could download and view, but they could also transfer it. So Tony, if you wanted me to give access to someone else to get a copy of ice cream, you could make me an editor. A downloader means I can only download these files, but I can't move them or invite anyone else. And a viewer is just a viewer. If you want someone to only see a file, you make them a viewer. So you can invite me as a downloader. And what's cool about this is you have the ability to do this per person, per directory. See, in some cloud products, when you invite someone to a project, they can see everything in that project. But with Strada, you can control what people see at the folder level. So he's got me there. So I'm going to go back. You can leave your screen sharing, Tony. I'm just going to go back to my screen here. So you're good, Tony. And I see MacBook Pro, and I see 4K downloads ice cream. I'm telling you, people, I did not have access to this file until Tony just typed my email in. It's literally that fast. And right now I am playing back the file. So what's funny, Tony, if you go and you play back that clip right there, if you play that clip that's loaded in the player, that sort of chocolate ice cream, that people can see that playing back. I'm playing back the exact same file on my computer 5,000 miles away. And then I'm going to do something else kind of funky. I'm going to go to my QuickTime here. Let's see. I'm going to go to my phone, and now I see the ice cream files. And on my phone, I'm going to launch the exact same thing. So here we are requesting the player from Tony's computer. So Tony, on my screen, everybody is now seeing the ice cream playing back on my phone. So there it is playing back on the phone. They can see it on the my browser and then on your browser as well. Like, this is the same file. There isn't a copy of it. We haven't moved anything. We're accessing it in place. Think about that, people. These are, and if you swipe through, I'm swiping through the files on my phone. You could click Tony, and I'll tell you a trick, Tony. If you hit the command and arrow button, you can actually control the files. If you hit play and then you hit the command arrow, it'll just go to the next clip, and you can use the arrows on your keyboard up and down, which for some people rifling through a lot of dailies, this can be a fast way to get through lots of files quickly without having to click around, which is kind of nice. So Tony shared with me ice cream. We can see him rifling through on his computer. I know this, it almost looks so deceivingly simple, but Tony, I'm playing back these files here in California. Can you even tell that I'm doing that?
No, not at all. No, I mean, these files are literally on this drive in front of me. This is just connected to my Mac.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's a really powerful thing to think the files are just on Tony's desk, and I can play them right now, access them, and use them instantly. So that's really good. So now what I want to do, Tony, since you gave me download access, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my desktop, and I'm going to click in a folder, and I'm going to call this a folder Tony Altered. Okay, so I made a folder on my desktop that people could see called Tony Altered. And now I'm going to go into Strada, and I'm going to grab a couple of these files. So I'm going to grab a couple files that I want. So I can control click these, and I'm going to hit transfer. When I hit the transfer button, I get a choice of places that I can transfer files to. So I'm going to go to my desktop, and I had the Strada shares, and I should see a Tony Altered folder here. Let's see here. There it is. So now I'm going to hit transfer here. And what Strada is going to do is kick off a transfer. What I'd like you to do, Tony, is go to the upper right of your Strada and click on the transfer jobs panel and go to others jobs, the second tab at the top. There you go. And let's wait. And now what you're actually seeing, we'll give it 3, 2, 1. We should see an update. That actually shows you, Tony, that I'm transferring off your machine. And there's actually a record now of transfers that you didn't initiate that are happening in the background. That's a feature we added about 6 weeks ago, so you could monitor what other people do on your machine. Isn't that cool?
That's great.
So if I go back to my computer and I go to Strada shares and I go to the Tony Altered folder, I can see the files right here. The first one's here, ready to go. And the second one's here, ready to go. And the third one, according, I think, Tony, that was it. The third one's done. And now we can see on Tony's screen, it says transfer completed and verified. And if you hang there real quick, this is important to understand. The completed means there was a transfer that happened, but the word verified only shows up when we get a positive checksum. So we do an XX#64 checksum when we transfer a file. And if the checksum comes back byte for byte accurate, you get the little verified indicator there. And soon that will show up as like a green checkbox, and you'll be able to download the checksum hopefully by December 1st. So if you wanted to have a record that you could export for a large transfer or an important transfer, Strada will give you the checksum from that. That's what that verified means in that that jobs panel right there. Okay, so what we did just now, Tony, is you invited me to a folder on a drive, and I played that on my phone and my computer, and then I transferred it to my computer, and we're looking at this locally on my computer. So let's go back to you, Tony. Now let's give me access to a file that's super big and something that is only view only. Do you have something like that?
I've got this huge file. This is like 90 gig.
Perfect. Yeah.
PQ, but let's give
me view only access. So this one, let's do viewer only. And unfortunately, Strada, yet we don't remember email addresses. You have to type them in. But now I do not currently have access to the 4K big stuff yet. So now he's made me a viewer of that. And now he can see my icon pops up in the top of this panel. So there you go. So he's now able to play back a 90 gigabyte file, 85 gigabyte file. So why don't I skip right to my phone right here? Check this out. I want you guys to see this happen in real time. Notice where it says, I'm going to point to it right here. See this? Let me move this out of the way. Oh, I can't move that out of the way. There we go. Okay, where it's Tony's computer is a MacBook Pro. And you can see there's the 4K ice cream. There's a transfers. He's got a transfers folder that he's going to put things to when I transfer back. But I don't have the big stuff yet. He just invited me to big stuff. I'm just going to pull down on my phone. And when I pull down, look what happened. Big stuff just popped up. So that's the refresh. As soon as I refreshed it in Strada, I got it. And there it is, 87 gigabytes, an enormous file, 87 gigs. Now, if you look at the file name, it says this is PQ. It says here at the top, it says D65P3PQ. What that means is the white point is in D65P3, which is not a traditional 709 white point. And then it's PQ, which is a different gamma curve compared to the traditional 709. So most of the web is in 709. This is PQ. So this is going to look different. Today, Strada does not convert files that are in different gamuts or different gammas, but we can play them back. So Tony, if this was a file for an HDR television or a color correction session, I could always download this and transfer it, but at least I can view it even if I don't, I can't see it necessarily correctly. So I'm able to skip through this long file. I can see the total runtime of it is 20 minutes long. So I can skip through this and play it back. And if I want to pledge to everybody here, someday we will handle HDR clips. Someday we're going to do that. And we'll make that work. But today we don't display the HDR files like this correctly. So you have to think about that. But other than that, this file is available. I can see it. I can QC it. I can QA it. And if I wanted to transfer this file, I could transfer this file. Now, I can't transfer it on my phone because it's 80 gigs, and we don't let people try to download 80 gigs on your phone. I don't think anyone would want to do that. But we can see here that I've got the ability to browse. And if I were to go back to Tony's ice cream files, I could always go to the ice cream files and I can see those files as well. And so if I wanted to download the ice cream file, I can get that. So now I've started the downloading of the ice cream file. Oh, maybe it's coming down. Okay. So I'm transferring the ice cream file to my phone. And so I have the ability to download files to my desktop or my phone. So Tony shared with me that. So I'm going to let that download for one more second. Now, Tony, I noticed that you on your computer had a file that you shared with me for me to put things into. Is that correct?
Yeah, I created there's a desktop. It was a folder on my desktop, sorry.
Yep.
It was called Transfers from Michael or something like that.
Right.
Let's see if I can find that.
Let's take a look at it. We'll make sure it's open or empty.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. So he's got on his desktop a folder called Transfers from Michael. So check this out. One of the beauties of Strada is that someone like Tony, who's 5,000 miles away, people that work intercontinentally, we often are asleep when the other one's awake. And we all know that there's always this trouble between, these countries that are far apart. So what happens if I need to give Tony files, but he's asleep? You can see right now he's got a folder called Transfers for Michael, and it's empty. But what if I want Tony to wake up tomorrow and have all the files he needs to edit? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my computer here, and I'm actually going to go to my mother's computer in Colorado. And you remember, there was this folder called Sovereign. That's the movie. We got some HEVC dailies. What if I wanted Tony to have these files? Well, what I could do is I could grab a bunch of these files and I could select transfer. Oh, I can't transfer to you, Tony. I think I can transfer to you, Tony, but I want you to get them. So what I'm going to do first, Tony, let's see. I just want to make sure. Did you invite me? You did. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Okay. So I see, that's my bad. That's my bad. Here I see Tony's transfers from Michael. He's allowed me to transfer to it. So when I hit transfer here, I am just taking, 12 clips. And I'm sending 12 clips from Colorado to Tony. So Tony's starting to see the dailies show up there, and I'm delivering them to Tony's desktop. When it's happening, still, doesn't it feel kind of crazy, Tony?
Yeah, it's great.
I just added 12 more. So I've created a small batch of jobs, and I'll even do one more where when I transfer these, I should be able to establish a queue. So if we look at my jobs panel in the right, we should see waiting to begin. You see here, folks, I finished the first one. It says download completed. It's going to checksum it. When the checksum comes back, it'll say verified. In the meantime, it started the second transfer, and then there's a third transfer. And if we look at Tony's screen, you can see all these dailies coming in. So Tony, describe to me how you could see this have value for people that are, I'm sure you have productions that shoot sports events in other countries and stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's great for so many different reasons. If you're shooting in one location and doing post in another, you can get third copies directly to the post house while you have your first and second copy in transit in different transit routes. It's fantastic to be able to get ahead and get started. Everyone wants to get editing faster, right, and start projects sooner. So the ability to start working with these files at the end of each day, rather than at the end of each shoot or end of each week that the rushes get sent back. Some people have got huge budgets to use AWS Cloud, and that's fine. That's fine for them. That's great for them.
It's huge.
There's a lot of people out there that can't afford that.
I love that. So Lensman on Instagram says, what's the transfer limit from PC to a mobile device? I have done a file that's been a little less than 10 gigabytes, Lensman. So I just transferred, if I look back at my file here, do you remember I was transferring a file from Tony, and I think I hit save here, so it should be, there it is. I moved this ice cream file from Tony's computer, so now I have this. But I've moved a file about 8 or 9 gigabytes, Lensman, to the phone. So you can download to the phone. And let me just, that's the size that some of these have actually been. So I just want to show you that so that we can understand that. So Lensman, if you're watching, if I go in an HEVC clip, actually I want a bigger file. I'm going to try to find a larger file here. Let's see here. Here's one that is 4.6 gigabytes. Okay, so that's pretty big. Hopefully, I will be able to show you here that happening. So if I hit download, it's going to start downloading, and we can see. Now this is going to take a while to download remotely, but I want you to see that it's going to start counting up percentage-wise on a 5. This is nearly 5 gigabytes. So Lensman, I can't imagine you need to move a file that's larger than 10 gigabytes to your phone to post socially, but this will work. And as soon as I see 1%, you'll know that this is happening. It just happens to be a very large file, and I'm doing a live Zoom at the same time, and hopefully this isn't ruining that Zoom. Okay, while that's going, Android build got published to Google Play Store. Oh, this is an announcement. I have an announcement here The Android build was published to the Google Play Store. It should be available in the next hour. So if you're an Android user, it's 9:45 in the morning Pacific, and we are expecting the Google Play Store to have the updates for mobile, which is swipe and full screen and pinch and zoom and download progress on the Google Play Store within the next hour. And you can see at the bottom, Lensman, see downloading hit 1%. So this is a large file. It's a slow network, but I am able to get the file transferring. And so the file is in process of transferring. So that's good. Johnny says, will you explain the difference between Strada and Signiant or Aspera? That's a great question, Johnny. I think Tony kind of proves this out. So Tony, do you want to take that one? What is the difference between Strada and Signiant and Aspera? Sorry for putting you on the spot, but I'd love to hear what you think.
No, it's fine. I mean, I used to use Signiant for any networks. We used to transfer stuff from what was an older model back then called manager to agents. So we'd be sending content from New York to all the different joint ventures around the world and all the post houses of New York and outside, sending it into the hub that was the New York production center. And back then I think we were spending $7,000 per location on each site, right? So I haven't looked at the pricing model for that lately. I know it's different. I know Media Shuffle has changed things, and it's still there's a lot of guys out there. I could name a few others, but all of them have got quite cost prohibitive models from being the amount of content or the amount of places you want to send stuff. So the number of places goes up, cost goes up. Number of files you want to transfer, cost goes up. What I love about this, it's your team, it's your users. And guess what? The guys at Strada are working on the way. If your team is 70% freelance for your production, well, that's okay too, because they've got that sorted, right? That's all coming. So it's just a completely different model. I'm not going to get into the details too much on Aspera, but these are huge businesses, but they do have a lot of costs to them as well. So
that's a great way to describe it. And what Tony just highlighted there is that he sees the biggest difference in the cost. And that's really powerful. I want to explain, though, the reason Aspera and Signiant, but also products like Massive and even Dropbox, Google Drive, all of those products are different than Strada because they are clouds. And so the difference, Johnny, is that one, there's two major differences. One, you have to upload into the cloud and pay for cloud storage for it to become available to somebody else. So that's a cost center. And Tony's talking about the expense of having to have a cloud hold your media. But the second thing that's really different is that because we're peer-to-peer, there is only one interaction. See, with a cloud, you have to upload to a cloud and then give a link to somebody to download from the cloud. But with Strada, what you literally saw is I transferred files to Tony's desktop, and I did it from a computer in Colorado. I could do it from my desktop, but I did it from a computer in Colorado. I don't even have to have the media local to me. A cloud cannot think like that. A cloud cannot remotely access some other directory and put that directory on someone else's computer. That's not how they work. Peer-to-peer with Strada's network creates all these new unlocks. So I put files on Tony's computer. Remember, I said at the beginning, if I was on a Windows machine, I could be putting Windows files onto the desktop of a Mac without anything in the middle. If there's a tech out there that does that, tell me. I don't know of a tech that can do an AirDrop-like experience across an ocean from desktop to desktop. I literally took files from a desktop in Colorado and put them on a desktop in London, and we didn't go to a cloud service. It's even when I say it, I smile, Tony, because we worked really hard on this and it's still new, but it still kind of blows my mind a little bit.
And you know what? The great thing is I'm a bit technical. I used to edit. I consider myself more operational. I didn't have engineers here to set this up today. It's me, my laptop, and a side demo room I chose for today, right? I don't need a huge technical team.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, Tony, I want to thank you for joining us today. I want to thank Altered Images. For anyone that needs systems integration, especially in Europe, Tony is the guy to get, and Altered Images is an amazing resource. And so I recommend them. We've got their links on our website on this video. But we're really thankful for you, Tony, for being a champion of this product. But I also want to say one last thing. Tony said he met us at NAB and said, this is different. This is interesting. And he reached out to us. What I really think is profound about that is that Tony is willing to bet on new risks, because that's what customers need. They need someone to do the research on what's different and what's changing, what's better. Otherwise, we're all still shooting on beta SP, right? Like if nobody takes a risk, then that's where the world would be still, because it was safe and it worked fine, right? And I appreciate you taking a risk on us and being a part of our team and community. And I hope the community reaches out to you if they need you, okay?
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks again today. I think it's been really good. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Tony. All right, folks. So let's wrap up today. And I want to wrap up kind of tying into what Tony was talking about, which is the pricing. When Johnny asked, what's the difference between Signient and Aspera and Massive and Dropbox and even Frame.io and LucidLink in some degrees, the pricing has a lot to do with it. Because Strada is not a cloud, we have a free option, and that free option can include unlimited storage. Unlimited storage, because you can connect hundreds and hundreds of terabytes to Strada and share it all. I have no problem with that. By the way, this is still downloading, Johnny, so you can see I'm at 10% of that 5 gigabyte file. Just want you to know it's still going on my phone. That's my phone right there. Okay. So unlimited storage, unlimited users, you can sign up for free and you can connect and view as much as you want. You can't do that with other products. You can connect and view as much as you want with Strada. You can invite people, they can view it. Now, where you're going to pay is if you're going to need to transfer. For people that only need to transfer dailies, like remember the files I just transferred to Tony? I just transferred a bunch of files to Tony. Those files, they are proxy files. So you can see the sizes of these files are kind of proxy sized files, right? So that's a good thing. So if you're doing proxy files, 250 gigabytes is a good monthly amount of files to transfer. So if you're only moving proxies, $12 a month US gets you 250 gigabytes of transfer. But if you're transferring a lot of files, then you could go up to $30 a month and you could transfer unlimited. The beauty of this is if you use a product like Massive, then you're talking about over $100 to move 1 terabyte. With Strada, you could move 25 terabytes if you wanted to on the same price. You could move 30 terabytes for $30 on Strada, but that would cost you more like $3,000 to move 30 terabytes on Massive. And so this is a real difference between cloud. We don't have a cloud expense for this product. It's your storage and it's your internet service provider. So we're not going to charge you for those features or those functions because you're already paying for them. So that's the different business model that we have. And so it's pretty exciting. These prices also go down. If you go to our website and you buy annually, they go down. And the majority of our customers buy annual licenses because you save like 20%. And so when you save that much money, it kind of becomes worth it. So that becomes an option for you as well. Okay. I want to invite you to join our Discord. Remember, we're all about transparency. We're all about connecting with you. So Pete will put a link to the Discord. Sign up for the product. It's free. Connect a drive, share a drive, and join the Discord. You can also reach out to us. We like to meet with people. My brother Pete and I get to meet with people every single day. We want to meet one-on-one with you. So here's a link. You can set up a demo. We meet and we talk about your workflow. We met a guy that's been on Mount Everest multiple times. He's been on the top of the world multiple times, and he shoots films on Everest for a living. Amazing. We got to meet him through a one-on-one demonstration of the product. So if you want to learn how Strada can work in your workflow, then reach out. We'll build a workflow chart for you. We'll figure out how to make Strada work into your workflow. We can teach your collaborators how to use it. We're available every single day to do this. So please reach out. And again, you can always email me directly, michael@strada.tech. I love my job. I love being able to change workflow for the better. And I'd love to meet you in the process. So I want to thank all of you for tuning in today. And if you remember at the beginning, we talked about an investment opportunity. If you're interested in learning more about how you might be able to get your hand on the steering wheel of Strada, we invite you to email us and ask about that, and we'll find out what you say about it. So with that, I want to thank everybody and have a wonderful week. I will see you on Discord. Bye-bye.